Welcome back, Earthlings, to our Season 3 recap of The Wheel of Time. For those of our brethren who care not for a critical analysis of the show, we recommend that you exit the pavilion immediately. This is for your own safety, for a great tribulation of truth is about to unfold. For our legions of fans who can stand the Valley of Thrakandar, we salute you for your courage. The following analysis was graded on a scale 1 through 10. 1 being Rings of Power, 5 being Star Wars Episodes 4, 5, and 6, and 10 landing at Lord of the Rings. With that in mind, the pavilion curtains are now open, and the show is about to begin.
Alrighty.
Welcome back, everyone, as my brother clears his lungs of the white vapor he has just inhaled. We are coming to you live from Nazi zombie land.
Indeed we are. And
Here,
nice handoff right there. We are coming to you from Nazi Zombie Land, and we are here once again to talk about The Wheel of Time Season 3. Of course, it's come to a close, and as of now, we have no news about a fourth season other than what a couple cast members have indicated that yes, they would like to return for a fourth season. Shocking news.
Yeah, right. I want to return to my place of work where I am getting famous slightly and slowly. Sure, that makes sense.
Theoretically, they're getting famous, you know.
Well, they're more famous now than they were before the show started.
That's true. That's true. Well, so what did we think about Season 3? What was the general vibe? I'm not saying put a number on it, but what do you think?
Well, okay, there are a couple numbers I'll throw out.
Okay, all right.
If I am if I am looking strictly at the differences between the books and the TV shows, I'm going to give this a 1 because 0 is an impossible number. If I am looking at this from if I'm comparing Season 1 and Season 3, Season 3 was a 10 in comparison to Season 1. If I am looking this from Season 2 to Season 3 was a 7.5.
Okay, that's what you would call consistent growth.
Yes. And if I'm just judging Season 3 on its own merits, I'm sorry, Rafe, but you get a 2.
On its own merits in a vacuum, not compared to the other seasons, just compared to all TV.
Yes, it's like
2.
Like, I hate
so
this.
So what TV gets a 10 then? So we know what the true metric is, because 2 is like, okay, what's the worst and what's the best, I suppose, so we understand the metric. Because 2 seems harsh.
It probably is a little harsh. I will agree with you, but if let me put it this way. And this isn't like necessarily TV shows, but I'm just gonna throw this in there. Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3 overall are 10s.
Okay, so that's
Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6 are 5.
Okay,
and what's another really good pop culture one? And
The Big Bang Theory. You wanted pop culture.
Big Bang Theory Season 1 is like a 7. Everything after Season 1 is, let's call it a 2.
Speaking of numbers, it's round 4. Let's dip out of here.
Yes.
Okay, so basically what you're telling me is that The Wheel of Time Season 3 is the worst television show you can recall in recent memory.
No. Oh, no.
Because it's a 2.
No. Rings of Power is the worst television series that I can recall at this moment.
Okay, so as a TV show, you hated it, basically. And as an adaptation, it couldn't have been loved either. It's 2 out of 10. I mean, I can't see how that's it was awful.
Okay, as I clarify this, yes, basically it was relatively awful. But that's not to say that I didn't enjoy watching it, but if I just bent my mind for 30 seconds to look at all the problems and bad writing, scenes that don't make sense, crappy graphics. Pretty much the only thing that was solid throughout the whole show is the music.
And something that, speaking of, things that don't make sense, why did we see Morgase kill all her rivals? Like, what actually was the point of that scene? Didn't establish anything that mattered. We never ever revisit with Morgase again after that episode. She's never brought up. We just know Gabriel is, fucking around there, and we find out, and Elaine finds that out at the very, very end, so she finds out before Rand does, I guess. But
it establishes that even after a succession war, where she has won the throne, let's say more or less fair and squarely through means of arms and the great game of houses, it shows that she is a cutthroat leader because she eliminates all the female rivals to her and her unborn child. That's basically what it shows, even though it was 100% unnecessary. And
because, speaking of things that just don't happen in the book, I mean, if that was actually the way the succession went down, I don't know about it. I never read about it. I was pretty sure she actually ended up, making enemies into friends.
She married her husband to help, right? Yeah. She marries whatever his name is.
Terengale.
Yeah, to secure the throne after Terrain goes. So you already know that she does a decent amount of, beyond that. She does a lot of political maneuvering. Tom doesn't necessarily gush how good she is, but he definitely gives her really high praise.
Yeah, he mentions a couple times that she's the only person that's ever been able to consistently beat him in a Game of Stones. About 50-50. No one else can say that.
Yeah. And if you can do that to Tom on strategy, you're basically one of the greatest players of the game there will be in this time period.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what that shows. There's it's not a good scene either.
And it's, yeah. And again, it's a fiction from Ray, from whoever the scriptwriter. That's not extant in the book.
Yeah,
and we could probably pick a ton of things actually that happen in the show that don't happen in the book.
95% doesn't happen in the book.
The scene in Alcair Dal has 5% of the gravitas and impact that the scene has in the book. Rand's awesome hero moment is therefore basically nullified because everyone else has more shit to do at the end than Rand does. Nynaeve and Elaine and Matt and Min all have an epic battle against some Forsaken.
Yep.
And some much Dark Sisters in Tanchio to make sure that they can't color the dragon. So on objectively a pretty important task. Rand kind of just goes out in the desert into kind of a shallow depression in the desert, says some things to the Aiel, and makes it rain, and not the fun club way. So it's just not very impactful on reflection. It's just sort of it's just not epic. It should be epic, and it's not. Maybe that's maybe that sums up my entire feeling for the show. It's not as epic as it should be.
That's the fucking title for this thing. Season 3 review. It's not as epic as it should be.
And a big part of that, I think, is because they sort of de-dragify Rand.
Yes. Yeah, they absolutely. They declaw him and they de-teeth him. He has nothing to do.
A lot more stuff. And then they make it... The plot with Lanfear, the ever-present manipulation in his dreams and out of his dreams by Lanfear it's exhausting because it's constant. It's 50% of the screen time Rand has, I swear, he shares with Lanfear. I don't know that for a fact. That's probably way overblown. But sometimes it feels like every episode there's a lot of interaction between the two of them.
There is.
And to be clear, I like her as an actor, I like her as a character. I think all the casting has been spot on.
I think she's my favorite, honestly, actually.
Which is, it's a good reason to have a lot of her, but the conspiring with Moiraine to drive a wedge
that makes
between
no
the people.
Bloody sense.
I just can't imagine Moiraine of the books making a deal with anyone in the dark side. Not to sound like Star Wars or something, but you know what I mean. None of that. She wouldn't make a deal with a dark friend. She would rather kill Rand than let him fall into the dark friend's hands in the first book and later on.
Yeah, and she even says that. Even in the TV shows, she says that. I've been the knife at your throat this whole time. Just kind of waiting. If you go mad or you not going to win the last battle for the light, I'll kill you. and like, but in the same idea, she'll be like, yes, I'll do this, but then I'll also work with the Forsaken, who I'm pretty sure is torturing the quasi-student.
She had to have known. I mean, why would that question as well to drive like about Egwene being assaulted? Did he do this to you? Implying that Rand did that in the dream to her. While she knows probably, I mean, she must know full well that it's Lanfear doing it because they're conspiring to drive that wedge between the two of them and separate them. Well,
right there, what you just demonstrated was one of the many reasons why I gave this show in season 3 a 2, is because like just that tiny little detail right there, being like, oh, is he beating you in the dream? Like, first of all, I mean,
Moiraine wouldn't even know what
the
it
character
was
right off the bat,
point,
and then
really.
B, you flip it around in like 4 or 3 episodes, and then Moraine's like, yeah, I know it was Lanfear. Like, really?
No!
Then why even bother?
Shit. Well, that was genius of me.
Yeah. Oh crap. No, yeah. So like, it makes no sense why you would just drop that one specific thing in there. Let me heal you really quickly.
Yes, thank you for coming to heal me.
Yes. Well.
Oh, I only have 25
nice.
rounds left too. Oh, sweet.
Perfect time. Oh, I have 24. All right, I'm all good. Ready?
Yep.
Nice.
All right,
let's get Juggernaut
out of here. Yeah, good call.
So yeah, like that. Yeah, right there. That's like one good example. To jump to the opposite end of the season, why does Elidia kill Siuan so fucking quickly?
Yeah, you would think that she would want to squeeze as much information out of here as possible. And, you know, the great thing about the power, the way they use it especially, is you can heal someone like just instantly. It's all great. Heal him and torture him, heal him and torture him, and you'll never really kill him. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Drag it on indefinitely.
Yeah. It happens in the
book. I swear, so the way they do it, you know, I mean, it's pretty barbaric. I don't know if even the French Revolution didn't do it like standing in the middle of like, well, maybe the guillotine was anywhere and everywhere. It was portable, but it was mostly.
But at least they laid you down.
Yeah, it wasn't just. It's kind of messy, and just uncouth, just disappointing in their lack of decorum, I guess. You know. Yeah. Only having the minimum number of sitters there and beheading her in front of everyone like that.
Yeah,
I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better way to like piss off half the tower too. I mean, at least the Elidia in the story can't say that she murdered Siuan. Everyone knows that she didn't.
Yeah.
Everyone knows she escaped somehow, which is crazy, but shit happens.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not like you needed a reason to dislike Elidia in the TV show.
Right.
Because, I mean, like, I remarked on it at the very beginning, I thought they were going to do something very interesting with her character when she was, like, reaching out to Min, be like, we're both seers, and seeding, like, using her to seed the information to Siuan about a special vote for the Hall, and then, falling for that trap and stuff like that. So I thought they were going to make her a little more of a sympathetic character and a lot like show like some of the interesting political maneuvering that she would have to do to depose Siuan. But they give you just a crumb of that, and then in like 5 seconds, all right, no, she's just basically a psychotic bitch.
Yeah, they just make her super evil right away, and that's about it. Yeah, they really missed an opportunity, I think, to make her a more sympathetic character and make it more interesting. Like, oh man, she's coming at this from like a reason that I can understand, a perspective that I can sympathize with, even though we as the viewers know that it's wrong or will turn out wrong in some way. We can still see why she did it. Instead, they went in the full evil mode.
Evil incarnate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Evil, negligent, and just sort of like vengefully evil too. Like, let's show a clip of her from 20 years ago, bitterly losing the vote for the Amaryllis seat, carrying that resentment for 20 years of politicking and maneuvering and advising other kings and queens around the world, and then coming back to basically usurp and murder her.
Yeah.
That's
speaking of
another real enlightened way to go about life, isn't it?
Yeah, right. And then speaking of that, like that scene in itself too, the 20 years ago, it was 10 years ago, when they're
10 years ago. You're right. My bad.
Yeah. Between like that vote, So the keeper, calls the vote to happen. A few sisters stand for Siuan at the beginning, and you're just like, oh look, she's gonna lose. She doesn't have the required thing. And then the keeper asks who will stand for Elidia, and then Alviren stands up and then says Siuan Sanche, and then everyone else starts standing up and saying Siuan Sanche. That's the stupidest scene ever. It doesn't add tension. It actually decreases tension because it just shows that you're a moron. You're gonna vote for them. You don't need dramatic. Not irony, just drama in general when you're doing a hall vote. It's like it doesn't create anything for the character. It doesn't create anything for the story. And as I said, it just detracts from the story because it takes you out of the storytelling. You're like, wait, why didn't you just cast your vote at the first place? It'd be like, I'm going to vote for beep, and let's just vote for beep, and then we're going to vote for beep, and then we'll call it good. It just makes no fucking sense. You can't recall your fucking vote. And that is an aside, but like the whole scene is just so stupid.
I just thought it was unnecessary fluff when there's so much stuff they need to get to. There's no point in. All right, so I'm all for adding character development and all that. That's fantastic, character moments, but that was possibly unnecessary for Elidia, unless they were.
What do you mean possibly?
Well, for the way they wanted to make Elidia, evil and vindictive. Okay, they had to set that up somehow. That was a way to set it up. So if you were always going to do that, fine, you got to set it up somehow. I suppose that works as well as anybody. My problem, I suppose, is just that they had to set it up that way at all. Elidia being manipulated by Padden Fane and Co. later on is much more subtle and much more interesting. And I know it's not as overt, and you got to wait for that payoff. But come on, she's going to be the Umberland seat right now. You got plenty of stuff to show with her in there and stuff for her to do. So I don't know. Seemed like a waste of a character, and I'm happy they chose a good actress for it. She sells her well.
They did.
She's great.
Yeah, she is fucking fantastic at playing her. I was very happy when the casting came out and I saw that. I was like, yes! Yeah. Because I've seen her in so many other things. Mostly I knew it from The Expanse because she plays a good and a bad character at the same time. So I was just like, ooh, this is going to be some great dichotomy. And then I got really excited for like half an episode when that dichotomy was coming to a reality. And then my hope got dashed and my young primal spirit was torn asunder, and now I am an old, aging man bitching on YouTube about how Season 3 wasn't as good or nearly as nice or anything that as it could have been.
I think the scene that really, really ruined Elidia for me was her in the Umberland study being extremely dismissive and calling her like fisherwoman trash or
like river trash.
River trash, right? Yeah. It's like, man, that's really like, I don't know. Elidia's kind of better than that, at least. Oh crap, I'm going down. Oh nope, yep. I got trapped by golems. They doubled back on me.
Yeah. No, you're right though. Like, Elidia is better than that, and she works, and she has to work so hard to get to that meeting. And all you see in that meeting is her saying, "You don't dress right. Your private quarters aren't gaudy enough because this is a perfect reflection of how pristine and how much prestige the tower has." And
you aren't exemplifying that.
And you don't wear the right clothes. You don't have enough jewelry. So like the whole meeting ended up basically to like 5 sentences of verbal diarrhea for no reason.
Yeah,
and then she just leaves.
Just insulting her for the sake of insulting her. When she must have already had a plan. She's like, I'm going to get one in good. Yeah, zing, pow.
I guess, yeah, but even that's stupid.
The Aes Sedai are really, really petty in this. Now, I'm curious now. So we've lost, speaking of Aes Sedai and plot, now Moiraine is gone and Siuan is gone. So 2 of what have been main or tertiary to the main character storylines are, at least for now, on hold. What fills that void?
Who was the first person you mentioned?
We got Moiraine and Siuan gone.
Moraine's
theoretically. You think she's going to survive? I was like...
absolutely.
That's so stupid. Well, then...
she's absolutely alive.
But that doesn't make any sense. She said so many times the only way that this works is if I die. Unless she, like, misinterpreted the dream or whatever, and it's really just... It looks like I died and got stabbed, just like it looked like Matt killed Rand in Season 1. Or Season 2. Like...
There is... Yes. like, there's that. And since they didn't fall through the red twisted door frame, that's why I'm very sure that she's alive. And plus, she's crying because of Siuan's death.
Which
like,
also,
Lan is
how would
right
she
there.
have known that? Were they bonded in some way, you think?
Well, no, my guess is because Moiraine specifically said in, like, when she's, like, swearing on the oath rod for the banishment out of Tar Valon for some reason. Well, actually, I know why that happens, but, like,
okay.
It's stupid. But she says, like, until Siuan Sanche calls me home. So I'm gonna guess, or something like that. So I'm gonna guess the fact that once Siuan dies, Moiraine is then freed from that
oath.
From that
she
oath.
Felt it.
And she felt the oath getting released, and the only
Dude,
way
what if
that
she
could
was?
happen.
Did she have to re-swear all the oaths, or just that fourth oath?
Probably just the fourth oath.
Damn, I was like, if she had to re-swear all four, then what if that unbound her from all of them?
Yeah, that would suck.
Be nuts.
But since it's not since it's the fourth oath.
Okay, so she got unbound from that. Fine, but all right, so that's just another change that is forthcoming, I suppose. One of many. And talking about big things that are, like, apparently just not going to happen. Rand is not going to have, like, amorous relationships with anyone that we think he is.
Yeah, like, seriously, I mean, because, like, Elaine is absolutely emphatically in love with Aviendha.
Yeah, she's not dreaming about Rand.
Yeah, exactly. She even dreams about him, so, like, there's no spark there. Aviendha herself has shown zero interest in Rand.
Yeah.
Min has barely seen Rand, except for season 1 at the very end, and as far as that, like, there was no spark there either. Let's get out of here.
All she said was, "You are the Dragon Reborn," basically. Just had passing words. No mention of, we're going to end up, being together. Min knew that from day one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, ironically, and the thing that they stuck with at the very beginning, through all the way through season 3, is, I mean, the relationship between Rand and Egwene. And in the books, well, obviously that never goes anywhere, and it is they certainly are not fucking in the Two Rivers.
No,
like they are in the show.
That never, no.
Yeah, they were good Catholic girls.
Just funny.
So, so that definitely never. So they bring that relationship way far, and even at the end when she, like, learns that
what the flying fool, yeah, what. Sons of bitches.
When she, like, after she learns that Rand is, sleeping with Lanfear and shit like that, at the very end of the show, when Rand is, or season, I mean, when Rand is, creating his massive rainstorm that seems to cover the entire world at the end, because they keep showing different perspectives and you see the clouds approaching on everyone. Even then, when he's channeling a buttload, she's like, Rand, stop! Because I don't know if she's, like, afraid he's going to, like, burn out or do something.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. What was he doing? He was just making rain. Like, it wasn't like he was trying to save a dying child or a dead child, bring a dead child back to life, doing something insane. He was just making it rain. Why would Rand stop? Once again, let's take away all the impact of some hero moments with some unnecessary braid tugging.
Yeah. Yeah, unnecessary braid tugging.
Speaking of the one who tugs her braid, Nynaeve, what did you think about her battle with Liandrin as replacement for her battle with Moghedien and Tanchio?
Okay, well, if we're just doing, like, a one-to-one analogy or analysis, the battle in the books is way, way better, because Nynaeve is trying to sever Moghedien, and Moghedien is just trying to shield her, and it sets up a way longer conflict between them, whose payoff is bound to be a lot better than what's going on between Liandrin and Nynaeve. Now, in comparison, those two, they just sort of, like, Liandrin is, mentors her at the beginning, then goes to the Black, or is always in the Black, I mean, tries to, like, send them off to the Shanshan, and then busts out of the tower, and then starts
killing many Aes Sedai in the process.
Yeah, exactly, and then just goes full, like, Black Sister, and when they finally meet, Nynaeve, for some really stupid reason, is still trying to convince
let's see this.
Liandrin that she can come back. You know, she says like either Joy or Amiko said that like no woman could walk so long in the shadow that she couldn't come back to the light. And Liandrin's like, oh God, you're actually trying to turn me.
Yeah.
Like that whole scene just like no one. It feels like all the main characters have this really flippant relationship with everyone sworn to the shadow, where they'll be like, ooh, people sworn to the shadow are really bad, but they'll have this retarded idea that they can be redeemed and that you should go soft on them. It seems.
Well, that is the religious dogma of the land, that, you know, no one can wander so long in the darkness. But as Ingtar kind of proved in the beginning, there's a price to be paid for forswearing your oaths to the Dark One. And in Ingtar's case, he sacrificed himself for the good of everybody else in the Horn of Valyr, and, you know, the victory of the light, in a literal sense, actually.
Yeah, and that is an emotionally poignant scene, and it's really cool because, you know, Rand says, you know, may the last embrace of the mother shelter you and welcome you home.
Yep.
And then Ingtar, Rand perceives like tension visibly like going out of Ingtar, and then Ingtar, you know, is like, all right, now I can do this. Now I can die with
come
honor.
on, dude. Oh my God, I am not playing well. Thinking, right. I'm like literally in my head about Wheel of Time, just apparently zoning out. Autopilot isn't working as autopilot-y as usual. Let's go ahead and fix that real quick.
Oh shit! It's like the scene's just. This is not as easy to get to right now.
I only had an MP40.
Damn, I can't believe that's fine.
Away. Nice.
Yeah. So Liandrin's and Nynaeve's scene doesn't feel as real as it should. It's kind of like it's not even like a real like battle because Liandrin just throws her into the fucking ocean, and then Nynaeve finally breaks her block, which is good because she's had nothing to channel since getting out of the Tereng reel, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean,
so she's been a long.
She's failed at trying to cleanse the glass. You never really see her angry enough to channel. She doesn't channel to save Egwene at all. Actually, in the battle for Falma, she's pretty ineffective. Not at all.
Yeah, she can't even heal Elaine.
Yeah, exactly. Elaine is the one that heals Rand instead of Nynaeve being the one to heal Rand. Again, that made zero sense. I didn't understand that. If anyone was going to do, it was going to be Nynaeve. She's already channeled before. She Super Saiyan saved everyone's life when Logain fucked some shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just annoying. But yeah, so I agree. It's finally good to have her block removed. And it is in similar fashion, you know, she's underwater and there's some, visualization of some sort of, I don't know, like, it's not surrender really for her, though. It's like visions
it's
of
just
her
child telling her you can do it.
Yeah, so positive affirmations from a fictional child.
Yeah.
Well, whatever works. I'm just happy for Nynaeve, and I'm happy for us as viewers because she's a really, really good character, and it's about bloody time she gets to do something magical. Because the way that they're speedrunning everything like they have to, you know, she's gonna have to start healing stilling and curing madness and shit like that before long.
Yeah, definitely.
Cleansing side in and all that.
Oh yeah, cleansing side in. That's an important part. I did like her, you know, come to Moses moment where she parts the water and walks out. I thought that was kind of humorous.
And it was appropriately like epic and climactic and cool.
Yeah,
oh, wow,
it was more
ballistics knife.
Nice. Yeah, like that was good. But going back to like the Ingtar analogy and like the cost of forswearing your dark oaths, what happened with Melindra, just like her soul getting sucked out of her body.
Yeah, that black like spideriness creeping out. I mean, if that's her price to pay, and she did something similar to Ingtar, I guess she's forswearing her oaths, you know, for land, for Malkir, and for the victory of the light. So it's a weird. Yeah, I guess we never really hear about what it takes to forswear the oaths very often in just ordinary day-to-day people, not our heroes.
Yeah, because like the only one we know for sure
Is
Varen.
And Ingtar.
You know, because like she has to poison herself
for the hour of her death
before she can tell Egwene what is going on.
Right.
But that's portraying the Dark One. Lanfear is the one who orders Melindra to do that. And as far as I know, the Forsaken do not have actual like command ability in this respect.
I think that think about Kadir in the Waste. He very much like indicates there's a hierarchy among Dark Friends, as Moghedien and Shiley Kaog were the two highest ranking ones you could be without being a Forsaken, I guess, according to him.
Well, no, I don't. No. I agree with that.
So they definitely have command ability. Like they can.
Well, no. Okay, when I said command ability, but when I meant like command ability, I mean like suck your soul out command ability. Like to betray the Dark One. Like Varen betrays the Dark One, not the Forsaken. You know what I mean by like giving away everything. So
but I assume Melindra was also by extension.
It could be,
or Lanfear put a fucking nasty weave on her. It's like, maybe. If you fail in this task, you will be corpseified.
Yeah, it's possible. But then this brings me to the second bone of contention with that part, is that when Lanfear goes to Melindra, she says, "I'm calling on the debt you owe me,"
which is referencing, I guess, getting her out of Malkir and to
But that doesn't make sense because Lanfear is still stuck in the boar.
Yeah.
At that time. And since you don't get any fucking really clarification.
I need some freaking Juggernog.
Yo, yeah, you do. I got it a few rounds ago. But since you don't get any confirmation of what that means, you're just left in the dark being like, okay, cool. Did she save you from Malkir's fate, or was that something else, or like what? I mean, because makes sense
Malkir's fate. This would have. We're talking. What, 40 years? Yeah, 40 years. So well before the boar was weak enough, as far as we know. I mean, Lanfear should be one of the first ones out, and she's still third.
Yeah, and you know she was actually relatively deep in, because Agonor and Belal, were caught on the outskirts of the boar, and they look fucked up when they get out.
Yeah, they had to heal for a while.
Yeah. So, my guess is that she was pretty deep.
Well, so Moiraine and Lanfear aren't really dead. Congratulations. No, we can keep them
definitely not
in the show. No need to distribute their fun moments to other characters.
Well, my guess is that like if we get a season 4, they will die with quotes in the way they should do in Tyr, going through the red door frame there, that somehow Matt will probably also like end up going through before to get his answers.
Daughter of the Nine Moon stuff. Yeah, that's probably right. And then Rand claims Kalendor at the same moment.
Could be. Yeah, you could do that at the same moment. But if Rand claims Kalendor, and let's say Robin then takes Sammael's place in the books and chases him throughout Terran Riyadh and
that is Robin's fight. Robin and Rand and Caemlyn go through Teleron Riyadh. And Nynaeve has captured Moghedien.
Right.
In the dream, and then it turns out she's actually the refugee woman disguised.
Yeah. All right, so yeah. So they might just stick with that in season 4 if they keep it that way. It's hard to say, but that would be that's the sanest course to steer here.
Captured Moghedien will be a very interesting character, won't she?
Yes. Yeah. Like that's what I have zero complaints about Moghedien in the show. Like honestly, like
such a great interpretation of the character.
Yeah, everything is pretty gold with her. She's fun to watch. I never know what she's going to do. I don't know what side she's besides her own. And the Dark Ones, obviously, but I don't really know what angle she's truly trying to play. It's just really well done. That character.
Her killing of Sammael was quite impressive.
Oh yeah, that was gnarly. That was
sucking
a
all his
fucked
bodily
up way
fluids
to
out
die.
of him, or whatever his goo. She sucked his
just
goo out of him and hung him up by it like a spider web, which
took out like all like the blood and congealed it somehow, and
so he couldn't
hung him
heal
by
himself. Because I'm guessing that's what they're gonna do instead of having, or that's what they're doing, I should say, instead of having the Dark One have the ability to just body swap his servants. If it's a completely lethal wound, like non-magical lethal wound, a la Rand stabbing a Samael, then they have instant regeneration ability. You know, we saw that a couple times with Lanfear already when she gets stabbed and her throat slit, and she just kind of smiles and it heals for her. And then again, in her battle with Moiraine, that heals as well.
Yeah, but I'm gonna guess though that Sammael is dead. Because
yes. I think Moghedien found a way around it. She
specifically said, "I want to see what it takes to kill one of the chosen."
Yeah, so she was working on a way to get around that healing ability.
Yeah, which I mean, to a point, I guess I can sort of appreciate. I don't know though. Like, I still say that Sammael will have to come back because the Dark One will just put his soul in a new body. I don't see any way around that one.
And now, who is going to teach Rand? Because we're getting past the time actually in the story where he needs a teacher. Like right now, Alcair Dal he now finds Asmodean, or back in Ruiden, but same time frame.
Yeah, I'm kind of questioning if he even will get a teacher.
But why did they tease it so many times? They've talked about it multiple times how he needs a teacher.
It's only a few times, actually.
But isn't that enough? Moiraine,
okay, yes, but
why don't you teach?
But in the last 3 episodes, he suddenly has been able to do a whole lot of things without any problem.
Yeah, that's true. He beat the shit out of Sammael without trying, and Sammael
without
is
trying,
an ancient demigod, basically, or the way that they're portrayed in the beginning in the books. They're talked about in fear, and they have all the knowledge, and they're all incredibly powerful. The weakest of the Forsaken is miles stronger than any of the any Aes Sedai seen until Nynaeve, essentially.
Yeah. Shit, I just lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Oh, well, how easily Rand defeated Sammael, and to give the context,
teaching, right.
And does he need a teacher or not?
I mean, like, I could see them just kind of screwing the teaching thing and just speedrunning the madness to a greater degree, and he just starts knowing shit.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Or lose Theron, starts talking to him more too. It'll be, because we don't really know how the voice is going to manifest. I think it's probably going to be like an actual image of him talking to Rand.
I hope so, because that's the best way to do it.
And then Rand can talk back to him and only see him.
Or try to ignore him.
Yeah, exactly. And then we as the viewer see it from both perspectives. We see it from the people watching and interacting with Rand, and we see it from Rand's perspective. Talking to... Yeah, people.
Because I can't just imagine a scene in any royal palace or some shit like that, where Rand is either talking or just listening, and suddenly his gaze just shifts and he's looking at one particular corner, and when the camera pans over, it's empty, and then it flashes back to Rand, and Rand is just kind of staring at it incredulously or sadly or something, and then it's switched. Yeah, and then it goes back, and it's just Luz Theron on the ground, weeping, just calling Ileana's name. Stuff like that.
Yeah,
it would probably be the best
way
to
manifest. Way to do it. And what about the box? When he's trapped in the box, just the voice trapped in there with him?
Yeah, because it's dark. He can't. He's technically there's a slit of light. Yeah. But you just need the voice, and that's all he needs. And they could still do it that way. To have the box be the first time that Luz talks back to him. The rest of it could just be Ileana, I'm sorry, and all the, undescript babbling that he usually does. And then in the box, he's like, are you there? And Rand freezes yes. Oh, and then, however you want to progress that.
And then they kind of work through the knots, so to speak, together.
Yeah.
But once again, we're getting way too ahead of the actual show, what it's shown us, no pun intended. So we've gone through Rand's lack of awesomeness. Moiraine and Lanfear aren't dead. Let's see. Egwene is an incredibly skilled Dreamwalker now, for sure. Seems to so far not have suffered many consequences from the Wise Ones for lying yet.
Or none.
Yeah. Elaine is there.
And replaces Nynaeve for the bitch.
Right.
Of the show.
Matt so far is kind of like dry and witty and sarcastic and fun, but not necessarily impactful as a character yet. Like he's not doing much.
His best moment in season 3 is at the end of episode 2 when he has his quarterstaff moment with Gawain and Galad.
And that is
so his best moment.
Awesome. Yes, that had me pumping my fist in the air. That was awesome.
Yeah,
it's
that was
exactly how it needed to
scene.
be. I'm glad they spent the time and effort on that choreography.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, what did Matt actually do in the show?
Oh shit. Besides be present and have some witty banter and find Tom, really nothing.
Which is a shame.
Because he should have a way bigger impact, yeah. He just kind of drinks, gets bored.
Bitches about his memories and his sleep disturbances.
Says
random
Nynaeve
shit
around
in the old tongue. Yeah, has a weird relationship with Nynaeve.
Yeah. Is completely fine with letting Aes Sedai touch him with the power to heal his memories. He doesn't really do much.
Yet. I'll just say yet. You know, now he's gone through the first Redstone doorway. We'll see what kind of like crazy superpower luck he gets.
Yeah, because that's definitely got to come into play.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just kind of his funnier moments are at like the very beginning especially when he's in the room with Siuan and she's like, you were an idiot enough to tell everyone that you blew the horn and had pictures made and. We're sleeping with the novices, right?
The Forsaken's most wanted. Dark Flank's most wanted.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably like the funniest moment he has. Well, that and when he remarks that the tower looks like, the shaft and end of a bell.
Yes. So he doesn't do much, but there might be more incoming now that he's got it through the first doorway.
Yeah.
Now, we've got Perrin's arc, of course. So Perrin
does a decent amount.
Yeah, I mean he does the right shit. He takes care of business in Emond's Field for the most part.
Yeah. He rallies the troops. They all follow him.
They sing some dope songs.
He has a couple whiny moments about leading everyone to his death, which is absolutely proper. Actually, to a certain respect, Perrin might. Yeah, like Perrin might be the closest to the books of any of the main characters.
Yeah, with the exception of having started out his character arc by killing his wife.
He is
the slow, considerate one. He has the wolf brotherness. Even though there hasn't been a lot of that recently, I've noticed, This season, This season really wasn't heavy on wolf. Yeah.
He doesn't talk to the wolves at all.
Which is disappointing. His eyes are permanently amber now, and he has battle like badassery, just striding through the Battle of Emond's Field with a hammer in one hand, an axe in the other, just beating down Trollocs.
That was epic.
And then negotiating the end of the fighting with Padden Fane, correctly recognizing his overriding desire to stay alive and
I dislike that. Not the cowardice of Fane, but the way that battle was resolved, because we went into that earlier.
It would have been cooler if, like, instead of killing Loyal, have Loyal come back with the other villages, or not. Just have the other villages show up unannounced, saying like, "We're coming because we know shit's going down." But they didn't do that. Instead, they just had other towns get overrun and everyone die, and a couple stragglers come in.
Yeah.
And then getting tricked into opening the gates for the fake White Cloaks. Like, battle's over. Everyone's dead. Game over. Goodbye, Manetheren. Right there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, the way they played it out, the way that Perrin got him out of it was smart and probably the only way to do it. But once again, this is a question of, this is a question of why did they do it that way? Why didn't they do it truer to the way the book had it? Because it's not like the book, the way they did it was somehow, I don't know, unfilmable or something. I don't know.
No.
Largely the same kind of shit. Bow and arrow and people on pikes and forming defensive lines and having Tam and Abel drilling them and having Alana and Varen creating powerful catapults. I mean, you could have done all that stuff still.
Yeah, falling back to basically to where they're defending at last, like the village green and the Tinkers are ready to fly. I mean, like they wanted to like give enough like homage to the books to be like, see, look, we're keeping more or less close to them, but they fucked up a buttload of like random crucial parts that just make you not even want to make you not want to give them any credit for being like, ooh, look, you followed the battle plan like 50%. Congratulations, you still screwed it up.
Ammo.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
No, I agree.
Loyal dying at the end is also like it's
kind of a what the fuck moment.
Yeah, like I'm more or less ambivalent to it, mostly because I mean the show itself has so many problems. It's not egregious of a problem. It's just like, oh, okay, something different happened that I wasn't expecting, but I can't really actually be disappointed by that because there's so much that happened in the rest of the show that doesn't make sense that I am kind of frothing in the mouth about. So Loyal dying is like, oh, all right, I mean, I've seen worse.
I suppose, and it's a sad fact as well that he doesn't do much.
Yeah,
he's a really cool character. I really like having him around, but it's not.
But he
necessarily
he's not
crucial to the story. And that's the thing, though. That's the hardest part. The nice thing about writing a book is you get to have a lot of characters. When you need to devote screen time to tell the story and not just like, Rand was with Loyal and is telling us what Loyal is doing. Loyal is writing his book. Like, these are things that you can just do easily in a book to, I don't know, give you more of a sense of what everyone's thinking and feeling. Hard to do that with a visual medium, but still really sad to see him go because I thought he was a little. The prosthetics and the CGI in season 1 weren't really right. They didn't really look like Loyal. They kind of got there in season 3, I think. And the actor did a good job with the voice. And of course, there's some electronic modulation on his voice too, but there was less of it in season 1, and it sounded pretty damn good. So, good casting, but it's not to be. It's not to be, I suppose.
Yeah.
But now Perrin is with the White Cloaks, of course, to finish off the season. And in fact, the last shot of the season is Bane, Shiad, and Fael looking over at the White Cloak camp. Correct? That's
so dumb.
Yeah.
That like right there. That was also a really another stupid piece of writing on my.
Having him go with the White Cloaks, you mean?
Yeah. Like they absolutely screwed him over. I mean, like. If you wouldn't have been able to defuse the situation, Dane's mistake would have led to ruin to everyone.
Yeah,
and
everyone would have died, and it would have been his fault for being. Well, he's so sure that Perrin's a dark friend, but he literally can't tell Fane is. I think that's ironic.
Yeah, right. And then it's not like he has the like the charge against him is killing his dad, not killing the two. The two children that they know of, and then Dane just being like, "You murdered my father.
You led him into a trap on Falma," which makes zero sense, and no one ever questions him on it until Galad does, which is about bloody time when he looks at him and is like, "I've never understood how you know this. What evidence do you have that Perrin led your father into it?" Or it says that to Child Bayar actually when he's questioning him when he is giving testimony. And then he just says, "Well, how could it be anything else? The victory of the light was with him." And that the awful reasoning that people who don't know or zealots and not logical cling to.
Yeah,
Bayar is a zealot. Is it just me, or have we not gotten very many max ammos?
We have gotten very few. Yes.
Let's go ahead and I need to pack a punch my gun.
Sure, why not? Fael has been. I mean, like. She's pretty much how I kind of pictured the character.
Yeah, pretty good. Especially the facial features.
Yeah, she looks pretty close to it, and she acts pretty close to it. So, I don't really have too many qualms with her.
Yep, and a little limited. She doesn't have a ton of screen time yet, but
yeah, minus the fact that like her backstory with her mom being a dark friend and her mom killing her brother, and that's the reason she escapes to go be a hunter of the Horn instead of because she didn't want to be the dutiful daughter running the estate, basically. So like it gives her a bullet of like extra drama that is unnecessary. I mean, like, it allows Perrin and her to like trauma bond over like her mother and Layla dying by Perrin's hand, but even that is like the most pathetic payoff you ever see when you watch it, because like once Perrin says like, oh yeah, by the way, I killed my wife, if you don't remember that, you're just like, oh yeah, that happened. Well, that was stupid. It happened at the very beginning of season 1.
If you'd forgotten about that, like, oh shit, that's right.
Well, that's because it happens and it's never fucking brought up again except for one scene in Shadar Bloody Logoth.
Yeah, it's
so
really
you're just
really
left for like, it's just
yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it makes no sense. But yes, basically that just happens for the sake of the story needing to happen and for no good reason. And then like it's not like and so it's like a few years because a tree grows.
And we know it's a few years
Moiraine
because
says it's been a few years. So like beyond those two segments of time that you now know, it doesn't really bring the story forward. It doesn't. I'm all good.
Word.
Doesn't help. It doesn't bond the characters. It's just like okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just kind of there.
But I think you're right overall, though, that Perrin's moments in the show were actually closest out of anyone to the books. He had the most plot points right there. He left Rand. He went back home. There were White Cloaks there accusing him of and murder. Trollocs are there, led by Padden Fane. Multiple showdowns, and ultimately, well, he gets captured by the White Cloaks, taken by the White Cloaks, which is not at all from the book. We talked about that already. So it's it's a decent adaptation of what happened there, aside from the very, very ending.
Yeah.
And at least they were smart enough to get a couple things right in this show. They got two really big things right. They got the Emond's Field battle, the existence of it, the more or less victory, and we've got Padden Fane defeated temporarily. And we had Rand in the glass columns.
Yeah, that was the one part that I was going to say if you didn't say that. Like, that was the best of season 3.
Yeah,
and it's because it was the closest to the book.
And I think you were right in a unfortunately cynical way when you said that it's the best because it's closest to the book, and it's one of the easiest parts of the book to write on screen because it is just a story that's being told, essentially.
Yeah. There's no nuance. You don't need to have like subterfuge between characters that requires subtlety of writing. It is just, this is what happened through my ancestors' eyes in like 3 or 4 different segments.
This is the greatest hits of my ancestors and how they betrayed their oaths.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, it's like it's the easiest thing to write and it's the hardest thing to fuck up.
And yet, actually, there was so many opportunities for them to fuck that up too. You've got to give it a little bit to Rafe for writing that script and writing it correctly. Even if he had some great source material to work with, every writer does in this sense. He's one of the few ones who seems to have actually gotten page to screen well. And then mad props to Josh Ostradowski for portraying the many faces of Rand al'Thor and his ancestors. That was really well done as a portrayal by him and as an idea to do it that way.
And then also, like, to give some Lanfear credit to the show, because we've been shitting on it, but mostly the writing specifically, I have no problems with the acting in any respect. Like, I think they all do a really good job. Pretty much all of it, like, feels real for the lines that they're given. None of the characters are so misplaced or such shitty actors that I'm just kind of, like, left cringing. Like, whoa, what the hell is that?
Jesus balls.
Right?
That was like a clusterfuck.
Like, I seriously thought we were gonna die.
So did I.
I can't believe we lived through that. But no, like the acting, I thought all the acting was really good. I mean, at least for season 3, there wasn't a scene that really felt hollow because like the acting couldn't deliver. on what was given.
Yeah, and there were a lot of really like kind of dramatic, non-action based scenes that required good acting and nuance. I mean, Swan's like final defiant speech to Elida before being beheaded is pretty awesome, and it's juxtaposed really well on the battle going on between Moiraine and Lanfear. The way she delivered it is great. Rand's oration, or Josh's oration at Alcair Dal, it was okay. You know, we're not at Obama levels yet, but he's young.
No, we're definitely not. But he's got time to grow.
Set wise, you know, I appreciate that a lot of the sets felt very real.
Yeah,
they're built. You know, Emma's Field wasn't dirty and used enough, but it looked like a real place. It was nice knowing that it wasn't actually CGI, and when it got blown up, it really got blown up.
yeah, I appreciate all the on-film, all on-scene locations. But it's one of those funny things, though, because, like, all the scenes that aren't on scene feel like there are a couple scenes, like, where they're in the mountains and shit like that, and you can just tell the green screen behind it because it's so jarring looking because it's just out of focus.
They're being composited over a real landscape, probably.
Yeah. And it just kind of, like, takes you out. So, like, that's both a plus and a minus sometimes.
But as a whole, the way the show looks, aside from our weird set, hang-ups with the dark stuff, not dark stuff like Dark Ones, but scenes in the dark just make it really difficult.
Too many things were shot in the shadow. Even during light, it was in the shadows and shit like that. And you're just like, dude, you can fucking have some color.
And I don't know, people have told us that it's our television, and it's the settings in our TV. And to be honest, I haven't fucked with them. Because everything else looks great, so I'm not really sure. Maybe we'll figure that out when we start watching Rings of Power or something.
Yeah, it is a possibility. But I still, though, think that, like, overall, too much of it was shot in the shadows themselves. There are too many scenes that even when it's full sunlight, you still find yourself in the shadows from the point of view of the camera. I just don't like that. It happens too much.
Yeah, that's a fair criticism. But overall, what do you think? Is it going to be enough to get renewed?
Yes.
You think so? Okay, awesome. I really hope so. Because now,
I mean, the fact that the ending episode on IMDb was 9.8.
Oh, wow. Really? That's an incredibly high audience score. I wonder how long it'll last that high.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it'll get renewed. I mean, and season 3 is much better than season 2.
Oh,
So, like that, and I think everyone more or less appreciated that, even though there was plenty of, I mean, like, we just spent the last 40, I have no idea how long, but we just spent the last 40, 50, whatever it is, excoriating the shit out of the writers. So, there was plenty of problems, but, like, it wasn't enough, like, as a television show in it of itself, if you want to just look at that, and don't think about the books and really don't think about the bad writing, for a modern audience, it was a good show. Which is a real not indemnification, it's a real indictment on modern audiences.
Well, there's one thing that Amazon has going for them in this respect. They haven't butchered the IP so much they're turning away all book fans, which means that they're almost going to have like a guaranteed viewership when they
from people like us.
Yeah,
I mean, like, 'cause, like, even if we weren't doing our YouTube and, you know, critiquing the shows and shit like that, we would still watch it because I want to see how they progress the story. I mean, it's not like, because I mean, like, for me, like, I still watch, I watch Rings of Power, for the analogy here, but it's more of a hate watch than, like, because I'm curious to see what they do with the characters. I'm like, no, they fucked up the story so bad, I want to see what they're going to do, because, and everything they do is just going to be awful, so I'm like, meh. But with Wheel of Time, especially season 3, I watched it because I was at least interested enough, and the story worked well enough for what it was that I was like, all right, I'm going to see how it continues on. Plus the fact that, you know, it's my character is coming to the main screen finally, and I can't help but enjoy seeing them, even if it isn't correct.
Even if it's flawed, I have to allow myself to enjoy it a little bit, just Just like you do with the Lord of the Rings movies. Is it a 1-for-1 remake of the book to the screen? No, and there'd be some cuts. And does Lord of the Rings do a better job of it than Wheel of Time does? Absolutely.
That's not even a question.
But at least now we're it's almost like someone's rediscovered the plot of the storylines and is finally writing this ship again. You know, it's like turning the tiller on a giant skimmer, like the sea folks say. You know, its wide beam doesn't turn quickly. And you just got to know there's some additional behind-the-scenes stuff that we just don't know about on a day-to-day basis with people in Amazon's production facility and camp and department just fat-fingering everything because they can, because they need to feel like they know best and they need to make changes. You know that's happening.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's going to be so frustrating.
I mean, Rafe is he's already talked about it.
And if he's talked a little bit about it, you know, how much do we not know about it? If we know that much.
If he's
comfortable saying that, you know there's oodles more that we don't hear about or won't hear about until much, much later on. So for that, I give him props for navigating this massive IP with a massive international conglomeration like Amazon, trying to satisfy your master and your viewers. You know, and he's doing an admirable job of making it to the screen now that we're in season 3. I can say that. Season 1, real rough. Season 2, slightly better. Season 3, maybe we could say it's finding its footing.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you said admirable job, I was like, oof, that's a high praise word. Finding its footing is the best way of saying it. Season 3 is finding its footing.
Ah, bollocks. Fucking goddamn.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of zombies next to you. Yeah.
Well, for what
I did
worth,
a lot of, I've done a lot of bitching. What about you? What like what scale out of 1 to 10 did you put season 3? And you can use either my scale of 1 to 10 or make your own. Because remember, my scale was 10 is Lord of the Rings, 5 is episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Star Wars.
I mean, using your scale, yeah, it's not to the same quality that Star Wars, the original trilogy, was, so I can't give it a 5. It's obviously not in the same league as Lord of the Rings yet, or probably ever, so I definitely can't go over 5 to that level. I mean, I guess, would I say that it's half as good as A New Hope? I mean, A New Hope has problems too, but that's why it gets a 5 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, that's shit. God damn it. Well, your scale is all fucked up and critical. All right, fine. By your scale, I guess I have to agree with you. It's somewhere between like a 2 and a 3, and there are so many goddamn zombies here, and I have no goddamn ammo. This is no bueno. Just rocking and rolling around 15 with a pair of fucking CZ-17 75s. Can't get out.
Oh, the grenade killed me!
No, I can't get out of here. No, come on, God damn it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I give it a 2.5 out of 5 for unfortunately the same reasons that Ian gives it a 2 out of 10. A 2.5 out of 10, God bless it.
And if you enjoyed this massive bitch fest and quasi-like fest of certain parts of the thing, do give us a like, follow, and comment down below. It is greatly appreciated. It helps us boost us in our algorithm. And we will see you guys next time.
Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in for all of Season 3 and Season 4. Let's keep our fingers crossed that it comes and is excellent. On that note, stay happy, and we'll see you next time.